y'all can pull out that, fall protection. Oh, yeah, the thing might make copies from, when Nathan comes back.
What you need?
Were there enough copies for Mr. Sutton to get a full packet, like, how y'all have a full packet?
Yes.
It should have been, because I made 35 copies. Let's say we can make, I think, yeah, they did bring one that, so, yeah, we'll start with phone action. Right there. And right there. All right. So the fall protection papers that you all have, you'll be able to see the different answers, but we'll make sure we go over them directly so that you have them in preparation for everything. There are 4 main incidents or occurrences that happen in the construction industry that rank always as being one of the things that OSHA violates contractors or employers for. And the consistent top 4 ones are falls, electrocution, what's called caught in or caught by, the one that's on there, so it says caught in between. And then you also have struck by. So these are categories of accidents. Falls, and if you don't have it, I don't know, we're gonna have to re-go through the thing, because literally I had them to print all of this stuff, they should all be there. The lessons, the fall lesson, the electrocution lesson, the caught in between lesson, the struck by lesson. It would be on either the front or the back. Some of them are on the back of the vocabulary, some of it ended up being on the, yeah, yep. And correct, yes, ma'am, the one that we went over yesterday. And so we're gonna go directly into the actual lesson now. Fall. What do you say?
I was trying to see which sheet.
She's talking about the lesson plans.
Okay, don't have that.
I think I'm missing the struck.
Did it find us on there? Just put your school on there, or you had to put it?
No, I just put NCCR.
I gotta call it again. Okay. Yeah, struck by, caught in between. I need you to hang out in there.
You smoke that? You smoke that?
It's on the table. Let me see.
You're good, appreciate you. Y'all found good? Perfect. Now, everybody have? Mr. Stubbs? Ms. Hill? Everybody? Perfect. So, as I was saying, with the focus four, and you hear different people call them different things. The focus four, the fatal four, they're interchangeable, but they're talking about the same thing. That is going to be the top four occurrences that happen in the construction industry that result in an accident, an incident, or an injury. The reason why I'm definitively calling them different names is because they all have a different meaning. If you started looking at your vocabulary, you will see an accident, an injury, an incident, an illness. They are categorized under OSHA, under construction terms as different things. We will start the lesson with falls. Let's watch this quick OSHA video and then we'll go into our outline.
Twist, more than 800 construction workers die every in the U.S. More than 800 construction workers die every year while on the job.
Thank you so much.
Falls are the number one cause of fatalities in construction. Falls cause 1 of every 3 construction worker deaths. These falls happen in a split second while workers are on roofs, scaffolds, ladders, bridges, and other work surfaces. But these deaths can be prevented. The video you're about to see shows how quickly falls at construction sites can lead to workers' deaths. The video will also show what employers must do so that the work can be done more safely. Employers have a responsibility to provide a safe workplace and require protective equipment. You'll see that using the right type of fall protection saves lives. Please be advised, the scenes you're about to see deal with deaths at construction sites and might be disturbing for some people. All scenes are based on true stories. 4 workers were insulating water and applying the top layer of sheet metal roof decking on a tall, pre-engineered building. The roof was fairly flat, there was no controlled decking system, and the workers were not wearing any personal fall protection. The workers were using drills to screw the metal sheets into the purlins. As one of the workers walked down the roof, he lost his footing. He fell through the space between the purlins and landed on the floor below. He died the next day from his injuries. Let's look at the events that led up to this tragic incident and see how it could have been prevented. Originally, the workers had no fall protection, which OSHA requires the employer to provide when working at heights of 15 feet and above. Let's look again at the workers installing the metal roofing sheets and see what happens when these workers use fall protection. They are now using a temporary horizontal lifeline. This involves a horizontal cable attached to 2 or more anchor points on the roof. In this system, the workers connect their harnesses to a horizontal lifeline that is secured to the roof structure instead of individual anchor points. Again, as the worker loses his footing and falls between the purlins, his lifeline stops him from falling to the floor below. While he is hanging from his fall arrest system,
He didn't have his fall arrest system. I mean, he didn't have the
Hold on 1 second, Miss Williams. I'm gonna hear you in 2 shakes. I'm listening.
No, he didn't have his full body harness and his lanyard connectors as far as like an anchor, so he fell and died.
You need to use safety.
His ABC, yeah, ABCs.
Absolutely. Those ABCs were not ABC. And what else did y'all see not there? If all of that happened and the workers were there, from your vocabulary, who else wasn't there? Which is who? From your the who? In your vocabulary.
Competent person?
Yes, the competent person.
Mm.
I just want to see who had read.
What's up?
Yes, a competent person. So where it was showing
Competent.
they had the actual arrest system. Right, so where it was showing here where they have, so this is what is considered a fall arrest system. I'm about to show you guys in the PowerPoint the different types of what is considered fall protection, fall arrest, fall restraint. We'll talk about those in just 2 shades. But this is considered a fall arrest system. If you remember the video, it said when he fell off the second time, this type of device will stop your fall. So fall protection is the overall system in itself. So it's all the stuff that the employer is going to do, right? A fall arrest system is just like this. It's going to be either like a self-absorbing or self-retracting lanyard, this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Your connector, right? Your seat, your
Full body.
self-retracting lanyard. If you
Yeah.
fall off, a fall arrest system arrests the fall.
Right.
It stops you in the midst of the fall, and then it retrieves you or retracts you in. It's going to bring you back in. The ones that are costly and expensive. But there are some where you have to wind the thing back up when they stop you. Physically, you have to wind it back up.
Mm.
Yeah, it's different kind of ones. And then with the competent person, somebody had to have identified, what was going to be the anchor point and the tie-off point. Most people that are just coming into the industry, they don't have the capacity yet to be able to identify what is the strongest point on this building, on this structure that is going to be able to withstand 5,000 pounds. Well, a competent person that's been doing it for a while that's what a part of their job is. When you're getting ready to have people tie off and be 10 feet, they said 15 feet above the ground, that man fell to his death. Y'all are going to be there, especially if you actually take your certification and install. If you're going to be on a roof, you're going to be on rock roofing structures, 2
Right.
feet, you know what I'm saying, 2-story, 3-story homes. So, making sure, okay, where are the anchor points? Where are we tying off at? What are we using? Are we using a fall arrest system or are we using a fall restraint system? Fall restraint systems are strictly there to restrict your movement, restrain you. You are limited when you have a fall restraint. With this, how they were talking about with this fall arrest system, they were saying it's on an individual line. So it's hovered above the building in itself. This is an anchor point, and then all the way on the opposite side, it'll be another anchor point tied off. So that while they're doing the roof, because they're progressing going forward in them. So like a crane or a forklift is gonna lift up the actual parts of the roof that they have to put together and put on, and then they're gonna be moving boom, boom, boom forward like that. So you need this type of fall arrest system hovered above so that they can continue moving. It's not gonna affect them. You don't want a fall restraint system because the fall restraint system has to be connected somewhere along the way, only because it's only gonna give you so much to go on. So far to the left, so far to the right, so far in front, so far to the back.
Mm.
That's the vision.
Protect employees.
to save lives, prevent injuries, and protect the health of America's workers.
Who does OSHA protect?
Employees, and
The workers.
extra,
No, you saying it right?
workers, employees.
I can know.
Something about security,
Is the employer is to provide training and inspection by OSHA standards.
What is an employer responsibility? Name one.
safety.
Anybody?
Provide people
No?
proper training.
Yes? Ms. Williams, you have one? Yes. Responsibility, from your job safety is for law enforcement.
You said employer responsibility or employee? Employer?
Yes.
Oh.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Good. What are one of the rights that you have?
Unsafe work conditions.
Anyone else?
To have someone, litigate something for you.
Whistleblowers?
Awesome. Good. Absolutely. So Ms. Williams says that you have the right to file a complaint by either utilizing the chain of command, speaking to supervisors, and taking it up to OSHA if the employer is not being responsive. Absolutely, we have the right to have a employee representative speak on our behalf or speak on the group's behalf by taking our formal complaints and being able to be a representative. Awesome. So we remember the OSH Act of 1970 is where we get OSHA from. If we are recalling, who does OSHA protect? Private sector workers, state and local government workers, federal workers. If you are a small business under 10 or a sole proprietor, you are not, OSHA does not have authorization over you. OSHA does regulate your industry if you work in the construction industry, but they do not have authorization over you because of the size of your company. So a small business under the IRS tax code is designated as something that's going to be 10 or more people work for the company. A small business that has 10 or less is just, it is actually recognized as a business. It is a small business that doesn't have the same oversight and regulations as other companies. Make sense?
Makes sense.
We know our general duty clause. Tell me what the general duty clause is in paraphrase.
Employer has a duty to provide a safe and healthful work environment.
Absolutely. Good work.
And to prevent causes of harm and death.
Say it again.
To prevent causes of harm and death.
Yes, absolutely. Prevent any type of causes that can expose you to any level of hazards above the permissible exposure limits. And any hazards that you are exposed to, even if they are below the permissible exposure limit, you have a right to know what they are. Tell me about the HAZCOM, hazardous communication, right to know. Yeah, remember?
The workers' rights are, each employee will take. Yeah, privacy, each of the employees.
Employment in a place of employees which are free from recognized hazards that cause me or likely cause the death or physical harm to individuals
major types of fall hazards in construction? How can I protect myself from fall hazards? And what is my employer required to do to protect the worker from a fall? Can anybody give me an example of a hazard on a construction site that can cause the worker to fall?
The ladder not being 3 feet above
Good one.
the intended the surface that which you are climbing up onto.
Absolutely, good one, good one. I'm listening to you, Ms. Williams. We were getting, from the classroom, Mr. Leon was letting us know, one fall hazard if we are not having a ladder that is properly anchored and extended a minimum of 3 feet above the working surface. Absolutely, we were getting, that information. Somebody's calling my phone, y'all. I'm so sorry. Oh, TJ, hold on. 1 second, this y'all electrical instructor. Yes, sir. You're good. Siege's up here. She's gonna jump in. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Y'all can decide from there. But we're talking first. You're more than welcome to come up here if you want to. But yeah, we're okay. Okay. Thank you. I'm listening to you, Ms. Williams. Amazing. Awesome. Absolutely. So, Ms. Williams was informing us, everybody, that if our guardrails, so remember yesterday we were talking about our fall protection and being the employer having to put guardrails around us. So those guardrails, that top rail is required to be built at a minimum of 42 inches plus or minus 3. So it's going to be in between 39 to 42 inches. Sometimes, depending on the job site in itself, maybe the average height of the people that are working there, or if individuals are working on stilts, if individuals are working on, so there are portable, scaffolds. All of the scaffolds are not like the structure scaffolds that were built. Sometimes there are portable scaffolds. When you do drywall work, when you do painting work, they're like little miniature portable ones. They're kind of like a step ladder, but like a bench, like a long bench, but they're portable scaffolds. And so those in itself, you can, hold on. But yeah, those in itself, you can use for the adjustment if you have to, if you have people that are working there to provide those things, those all things. So, all right, those are good, y'all. Those are good. Super good. Can you identify some fall hazards in this picture?
The scaffold that we got.
You don't see nothing tagged.
Right. That's considered a carpenter scaffold, sir. It's not even built out correctly. It's not even been wired. Okay. So we see the worker is working from a carpenter scaffold that has no guardrails. The scaffold actually extends too far beyond either end, and it is not wide enough. Then you see the worker also does not have any proper access to the scaffold. He probably climbed out there, or maybe they put a ladder out there and then pulled it back in, something of that nature. People do all kind of crazy stuff. And then it says the worker that's inside of the window is not provided with fall protection, as there is no standard guardrail for the window. Then you see at the bottom, the worker working below is exposed to the struck-by hazard of tools and equipment falling from the employees working above. Note, a competent person must supervise as scaffolds are erected, moved, and taken apart. So when a scaffold is put together, when it is erected, when it is dismantled, taken down, or if you have to move a scaffold, now on a job site, on an active job site, 99.9% of the time, they are not every single time going to take a scaffold down in order to be able to shift it or move it. That's you'll see that in more of like a smaller construction environment, a warehouse environment where they have the time to be able to do that. Generally, on a new construction or a large, very skilled construction project, they're just gonna build an enormous scaffold around the entire structure. So you can just walk from section to section. There's no such thing as taking it down to just slide it and move it. It's too time consuming. Yeah, generally, that's not really gonna happen. But when they are put up, a competent person that has a background in scaffold building, that has a background in supervising scaffold building, that knows the material, that worked either with the safety manager, the project manager, the superintendent to actually order the material so they know what kind of manufacturer it's coming from, the capacity, the weight capacity that it has, the rating of the actual metal, what types of materials can harm it, can damage it, can make it less effective, and it is. Sometimes you put different corrosives or you put different cleaning solvents on a metal.
Or it's climate.
Right, or climate absolutely will be able to affect the structural integrity of that specific tool. So that's what their job is. As the people that are getting paid the salary, as the people that are sitting in those trailers all day long, that's what their job is to be in there researching, reading, and finding out, okay, if we're ordering from Granger, they're sending us Valerian steel, okay, from Game of Thrones, yes. They're sending us the best of the best. We
Right.
know it, and they have the ability to withstand these types of corrosive materials.
Right.
When they're coming up with a plan, well, we're in the rainy season. What's going to happen if it rains? Okay, well, should we be covering it up every night? Oh no, we're purchasing the steel that can withstand these types of weather conditions. It can withstand up to 6 months of snow, and all we have to do, that type of stuff. That's their job to do, and be able to tell you, if we didn't buy Valerian steel from Game of Thrones and we bought 1992 Scott Street Auto Parts steel, and hey gang, this is gonna work, but don't spill nothing on it because it might melt in 2.3 seconds, okay? We don't want it to disintegrate like cotton candy. I mean, just
Yeah.
tell us what we're working with.
Right.
Examples of a fall hazard. So, unprotected sides and edges, that is definitely gonna be one of the more prevalent ones where falls happen from. Lots of time when people are working on scaffolds, working on ladders, working on buildings, interior buildings where the building structure itself is a new construction or remodel where it's still open and people are at heightened elevations. It's not a lot of enforcement all the time. Like I say, they'll if you have the information and you don't use the information, most employers, especially construction folks, they are not gonna put their foot on your neck to enforce you to do any of it. They don't even, a lot of them don't even care if you do any of it. They care about the craft. They care about you doing the actual, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to your training, they're responsible for training you and make sure you know how to do your job. But the safety aspect of it can never be lost. And a lot of them only do so much. They are doing compliance work and they'll get you so far there. But if you don't speak up, if you don't advocate, if you don't ask questions, if you don't insist on, I am not going to put myself in a dangerous situation where I am absolutely uncomfortable doing this. I haven't had anybody really show me how to do this. Yes, I've taken a class. Yes, I did the simulations. Yes, I passed my performance evaluations. But in a live setting, I've never done this before. Mr. Employer, Mrs. Employer, I need to be paired with somebody. I need to watch somebody. I would feel more comfortable if the company would allow me time this first week to really shadow somebody so I make sure that I'm doing it y'all's way. So I make sure that I'm learning it the way that the company is asking for it to be done. Now, the company, it has I told y'all, you can be at 20 different carpentry companies. All of them can be the same advanced level 4 certified journeyman level carpenter, and all of them can be doing something completely different. They can call the same tool, depending on where they live, where they from, where they grew up, a completely different name, and all of you be doing the craft, the training part differently. The safety has to be standardized. It has to be across the board, something that doesn't waver. Because when you do safety your way, you do safety your way, you let this slide, you let that slide, it gets all over the place, and it makes the environment absolute chaos. You don't have any order, any direction, any productivity, all of those things trickle down to be effective. Make sense?
Makes sense.
When it comes to openings like roofing penetrations, openings like holes on the ground, at different elevations, you're working in an apartment building and they're putting the lights in, you working on the third floor, they're putting in the lights on the second floor. Before this right here, you see this outside with this fan coming on through, yeah, those wires have been twisted down and put inside of there, but before all this pretty part was here, there was a hole there was a roofing penetration hole that probably was this big, that came down to put all those wires inside before this interior part was ever covered up and beautified and stained and all that good stuff. When you're in the construction part of things, you're walking around all of those holes. You're walking around all these different openings at all these places. They are part of slips, trips, and falls that happen on job sites that cause people to have very, very horrible injuries or fatalities. It's easy to slip and be off of a roof. I was working in the Virgin Islands. The houses in the Virgin Islands are massive. Mansions that look like freaking, what the folk out here, Memorial, massive. And we were on a mountain doing that. So enormous heightened elevations and the peaks and the pipes that they have for their roofing elevations are much, much deeper than ours. Their houses are just built in a different structure. They don't have central air, so a lot of them did not have central air. And so they have, these different watering systems, and then they have these internal systems that like keep their houses cool, but how they were built was pretty much, it was in the design for them to provide a cooler home, how it's built, how the sun is getting off of the home and all that other good stuff. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful place, but baby, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Improperly erected scaffold, we just talked about that. If the competent person is not on site, if the competent person is not there to have oversight, if there's not somebody that has an actual inspection checklist, anytime, we said this yesterday, anytime you get on any equipment, any tool, any material, you need to have a visual inspection. It's not all the time that you gotta have a paper checklist with 50 different things and you got to run tests and da-da-da-da-da. Like I told you, if you do nothing else in this industry, they put a drill in your hand, you're gonna need to look at that mug and say, where are the instructions? Where are the directions? Take a moment, take a second to think before you do, to think before you act, to jump in. Yeah?
Yes.
Improperly anchored or poorly maintained ladders. So how we were talking about and looking at in the video, you need someone that has a level of competency to be able to identify for you, this is an anchor point that is sustainable to hold a minimum of 5,000 pounds. Two people cannot be tied off on one anchor point just because you weigh 130 pounds and you weigh 212. Each individual person has to have each individual anchor point, because if you fall, it don't matter if you're 112 pounds or 219 pounds, you're coming down like a torpedo. The weight of you when you fall and the inertia when you actually fall, your body weight is coming down minimum 2,500 to 5,000 pounds of force weight. It's a different than your actual